Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to run through another what sold in the last week. I also had one sale on Macari that I'm going to show you and two on Poshmark, but for whatever reason I can't log into Poshmark, so we're just going to skip those. That was the cat. Next. So the first screen we have here is going to be the financial screen. I just want to tell you, so like today, $83.62. It's a bit of a fib because half of that is shipping costs, so we're going to be at about 40 bucks today, but I won't sneeze at 40 bucks. First thing that sold is going to be a Discovery Channel DVD, Dirty Jobs. It's a decent show, can't complain. As I said last week, the PBS, Animal Planet, Animal Channel type of stuff, all of that stuff does fairly well, so if you see it lying around for dirt cheap, pick it up. Next, Little Mermaid, 1989, limited issue. Believe it or not, I found this just laying on the street not too far from my house. I picked it up and it sold for $6 in about 2 days. There are hundreds listed and I was kind of surprised it sold so quickly, but it did. Next, we have a button. This also branches off of last week's conversation regarding picking up a bag of jewelry or your random junk drawer type of thing. It's just a normal button, but it's a campaign button. It's campaign season. Sold for $8. Yes DVD. Self-explanatory. $5. Anytime I can make triple my money was the rule that my buddy generally we started out with. He's like, no, if you can make 3 times your money, that's good. And I'm like, so $1, you make $3, that's pretty good. Yeah, here I'm making, I don't even know, because I get these DVDs for dirt cheap. What are you gonna do? Peterson Quarterly. Last week we might have had one of these. As I said, a buddy of mine found a box of them in an alley. This is 15 pages long and it sold for $9. There's a quick layout and that's it. I was so stoked when this sold. Food and Wine magazine from 1991. I found boxes of these. I like food, I like wine, so I have an appreciation for food and wine. And I'm glad to see whenever old recipes can become new again. So I'm glad to see someone out there is like, hey man, let's check out what was cooking in 1991. Let's make that, because I'm down. Next, fairly self-explanatory, Nintendo Wii Surf's Up DVD. Ratchet and Clank. Pay attention to what's popular, because I've had this for quite a while, and I want to say about a week or two ago they just announced a new Ratchet and Clank game coming out. So of course this is going to sell because people, start reminiscing about the good old days. Sold for $9, but I had been sitting on it for well over a year. Old School. Some of you know what this is. Some of you have no idea what this is. This is back when AOL mattered. This DVD gave you the internet. And I found it in a box somewhere. I've had it for a couple of months, but it just gave me fond memories. And I was like, I wonder if this will sell. Who knew? $5.40. American Photo, another magazine. Magazines, VHS tapes, DVDs, my bread and butter. The other day, I just saw someone talking about cassette tapes, and I was like, oh, really? They do fairly well, huh? Hey, who knows? Xbox 360. Kinect, not very popular, but somebody has a Kinect somewhere, and I'm sure that there's a Sesame Street fan somewhere. So when you're looking at things to sell, don't think so much about you and think more about everybody else who would want this or might have, thought about this. Because a lot of work went into making this game that may or may not have sold very well. I have no idea, but I got $7 for it, so I'm fairly stoked. Next, Lululemon. My first Lululemon item. I don't know what a Lululemon is, but I know it's fairly popular. A friend of mine had some clothing items and some other things that you might see pop up in here. Sold it for 20, or yeah, sold it for 20. I think I took a best offer on that for 10. I'm not sure why it says 20. Anyway, Cuisine Art, $16.20. I generally sit on appliances. I don't have too many of them listed because they're really heavy. Shipping costs can get up to $30 with this type of stuff. So as I said, I don't pay for shipping. So, someone has to want to eat that cost versus going to Walmart. And whenever an item like this sells, I'm always a tad bit surprised. Oh, painful day. I think it was, and this is another reason to do this. I want to say this was early in the morning or late at night, one of the two. But this came in. Guy wanted to buy it, $108. I accepted the offer on it. I know it says discount, but it was actually an offer that was sent in. And he had a couple of questions, or she had a couple of questions, not sure who. At any rate, the questions gave me enough of a feeling to just cancel the deal or ask if they wanted to cancel the deal versus sending an item out, them realizing they don't want it, canceling, then having to get it sent back, nothing may happen to it. So sometimes it's just easier to let a sale go if it's not going to be solid. And that was this case. So there was no $108 on the books that day. Next, we have another Lululemon headband, sold $16, 20% off. Stronghold Collection, DVD, a bunch of video games on there. Sold for $9.60. I actually just picked this up maybe 2-3 weeks ago for $1. And last but not least, we have the Toy Story trilogy. Are there 4 or 5 of them now? Not sure. At any rate, this is probably one of the first lots I've sold, but it only makes sense to sell them in part 1, 2, and 3. But sold $12. So we also had one Macari sale, which is going to be my first book. My landlord actually gave me a bunch of books that he had just chilling somewhere and wound up selling for $13 on a best offer. Shipping was $9.99. Again, Macari has their own flat rate shipping, so Macari and Poshmark both do flat rate shipping. It works differently than eBay, so I'm actually kind of thankful for it because eBay can take a lesson. At any rate, that's what sold this week. I really hope that you're getting out there. I really hope that you have downloaded the app. You've at least watched somebody else who's more of a professional sell things online. There's a ton of videos out there, so don't just watch me because I'm giving you just a very, very little tip of what's going on. And as I said, the way I look at this, if you're looking to make some extra money and you're like, man, I really wish I had some extra cash coming in, this is 24 hours, 7 days a week, a slot machine is running. I've awakened to see $375 on my phone. My phone could light up while I've been making this video for $15-20. When you can get a money machine kind of cruising for you, working 24 hours a day, even though you're not, isn't that the goal? Isn't that the goal? It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $100 coming in. The point is you are not necessarily working. So I spent, I want to say, maybe an hour shipping stuff out this week, and that about covers it. So as I said, what's that for the week? We had $256 for the week. After shipping, you're talking $125 for an hour and a half. I can't complain with that. So if you have any questions, go ahead, put that in the comment box below. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully next week I can just go live with this and you can pop in, ask your questions, say hello, whatever the case may be. At any rate, I want to thank you for joining me for a couple, and I will see you next week. And stay safe, be good, do good.